Jon, you're up first. What have you got?
I've got a fucking horrible taste in my mouth.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, Jon's working on some new catchphrases. What's he got? No, don't do it.
My fact is that scratching is contagious.
You mean the physical act of scratching?
Yeah. If I scratch, you'll all scratch. That's a fact.
Go on, then, scratch.
It's working.
I know, it's...
Yeah, it's working well, isn't it?
But I
I can't
suppose
believe
that...
I drank vinegar for you, and you want scratch to prove my fact.
Is there even a part of you, Ricky, that's getting itchy watching that? Even anything?
Not at all, I'm afraid, no.
What, the beard? You're not thinking, oh, there might
No,
be...
well, I'm used to it, see, aren't I?
Does the beard get itchy?
It does when I'm kissing somebody.
For the person...
For them.
For
Yeah.
them?
Does it?
Yeah.
I really want
Especially if he's a sailor. Don't think it's right, actually.
You don't think it's
right?
right?
No, I don't. Because I suffer from a thing called nodular prurigo.
What's that?
It's the most itchy thing in the world.
Can we swap seats?
If that worked, I should be going tearing myself like that, and I'm not.
Is it flaky when you itch? Is it like a snow globe when all the flakes come off? Because I get that with my dry legs. It's like I've got, like, some ready break up there without the milk.
Do you know what? I'm genuinely loving this panel today. It's very rare that I'm the least northern bloke on the panel. So that's Jon's fact. So Ricky's doubting this, right?
I do doubt it.
I kind of think there's a bit of truth to it.
You obviously fully believe it, Jon. Let's take a look at the evidence.
Feeling itchy? You probably weren't until we started talking about it on the show. But can scratching really be contagious? Here's someone clever with an answer.
When you see someone scratching, there's an urge in you, the observer, to also copy what they're doing and scratch yourself. This is now being understood to be part of a mechanism called the mirror neuron system in our own brains. Observing someone scratching makes you hypersensitive to that scratch, and it sets up a physical sensation in your own brain that that body part on you is itching and you want to then scratch it.
So let's put this into practice. This is an average suburban street in South London, and it's home to a man named Fergus. He's going to be our scratching guinea pig, but he doesn't know it. This is his brother, Toby. He's helping us to set up the experiment and to film Fergus on hidden cameras so we can monitor whether he copies any of our scratching. Our day in Fergus's started at home. Cue Toby with attempt number 1. Whilst chatting over a spot of intricate shoelacing, an important start to every man's day, he attempted our first scratch. And incredibly, Fergus scratched right back. Result. Next up, Fergus headed off to work, 5 minutes round the corner. We were waiting for him with cameras, hidden in bags, vans, and even prams. Standing by was an actress. She was looking for the leisure centre and was also feeling rather itchy.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Do you know where Lakshmi Leisure Centre is?
Go against this road, let's go opposite.
This way. Sorry.
But despite scratching and scratching again, Fergus offered nothing back. Oh dear, were we at risk of failing to prove our theory?
Thank you. Bye.
With one success and one fail so far, here's hoping the next attempts are up to scratch. Let's find out as Fergus arrives at work, a children's events company, run by these two chaps, Charlie and George. So it's time for boss number 1 to see if he can encourage some scratching with a traditional, if exaggerated, cheek scratch. To which Fergus replied with an unexpected nipple rub. So anything boss 1 can do, boss 2 can do better, right? He took things up a level by adding props with this delightfully subtle phone scratch. And Fergus treated himself to an indulgent head-to-neck scratch. So, after a busy afternoon in the office, Fergus and his workmates headed to the pub. We sent in this actress collecting money for our fake charity, Social Carers Raising Awareness to Combat Hardship, or Scratch. But did she get one out of Fergus? Yes, he gave her a cheeky chin wipe back before boss number 1 got a final scratch in for good measure. as did boss number 2. But with a grand total of 6 mirrored scratches from 7 attempts, Fergus proved that scratching is contagious. But that was just one man, and perhaps he was having a particularly itchy day. So, to definitely prove our hypothesis, we needed a lot more scratching guinea pigs. And here they are. A whopping 27 unassuming scratch specimens lurking at this lecture on trends in technology.
You don't necessarily need people to go through a full login procedure so that they can access their accounts.
It sounds like the perfect subject to fit in a few bored scratches. So would our lecturer scratching be so contagious that an audience of 27 people will all scratch too? Surely not.
So there is a certain security issue that we start to get with stuff, and you're right, we should be questioning that.
But as he started to scratch, slowly but surely so did everyone else in the lecture room, until almost every single person in the room had scratched, proving once and for all that scratching really is contagious.
Now, that was interesting, that, John, because you pointed something out in the audience there.
Well, I was watching that section of the audience there, and I'd say at least half of them scratched during that seminar, just the seminar bit of that.
Well, do you know what's interesting? Ed, our floor manager's just come up to me whilst we were watching that and said, John's been scratching constantly during that. I didn't notice it because I was looking at the thing and having a good go at my bollocks, but...
I don't want to sway where you pick your subjects for these sort of things, but someone who works in children's entertainment who goes to work on a scooter.
Yeah.
Oh, you seem sweet.
If I saw someone on a scooter, even if I was being paid to be an actor, I'd think, I'm not going up to him.
That's the cool look on the scooter, isn't it? The way I'm carrying it off.
Is that your scooter face?
Yeah, well, I'm slightly put the shoulder forward as if to say I'm not even trying.
Now, you've just done that. You know what them fingers that were in the olden days when people drank tea?
What's that?
Because syphilis was rife. And if they went to a party and all the young women were there and they weren't like that, it meant I'm clear.
Well, surely everyone was doing that then.
No, they weren't.
Everyone was honest and thought, I'd rather be honest.
A lot of them were in hospital with syphilis.
I genuinely always thought that was ballast. I thought that if I had a cup of tea without doing that, I'd just fall over to the left. If I put my finger up, I'm just perfectly balanced like that. I'm on a very fine centre of gravity. So I thought it was a scientific thing. Turns out I'm riddled with syphilis. So that was John's facts. Now, we're going to score it, Ricky and Sarah, based on what you've seen, on a scale of 1 to 10. How amazing is that fact, Ricky?
I'd only give it 5, honestly.
5?
Yeah. I'm still not convinced. You get a gang of people like that. Look, there's people scratching there now and there. They're not watching anyone scratching.
No, but they've just watched that VT. Maybe that's why they're scratching.
Yeah, but maybe it's not.
Well, that's true.
That's true.
That's a good scientific argument.
I'm only giving it 5. Sorry, John.
All I will say is that bad scoring is also contagious, so... you better have a pretty good fact up your sleeve.
Sarah, what are we giving?
I think a nice round 8. I quite like it. You can kind of do that sort of experiment just to pass the time. You can sort of scratch and see if the children copy you, or you can do it at work or on public transport if I weren't too posh to use it these days, which I am.
Well, I'd say 5's a little tough, because the VT did prove quite a bit. I'd say 8's a little kind.
Oh, where's this going?
As Ricky... Because as Ricky pointed out, and it's not like everyone in the audience is scratching, but there's enough of them to prove there's some truth in the fact. I'm going to give it a nice 7. So let's add that up and see what that gives you, John. Jon Richardson scores 20 points.